here's a list of things that I've come up with to look out for when watching a YouTube video from a YouTuber you really enjoy when they're talking about something that seems very emotional or hard for them to deal with. It's not that they're not actually having a hard time dealing with this thing. It's just some good things to look out for, because people manipulate people. And when you have a relationship with a YouTuber just by watching their videos, it can be fairly easy to be manipulated by that person. Number 1, the sigh. Now, the sigh is a classic manipulation technique. You start your video like this. It shows an audience that you are sad, that you are dealing with something intense or emotional. It's really funny how many times this exact technique is used. It also tells the audience, hey, we're gonna be here for a little while. Settle in. This is gonna be a journey for both of us. The format change. Now, this isn't a thing that always happens, but a lot of times when someone's doing a video like this, they break what their normal format is. They either record their video on their phone or on their webcam. If the YouTuber you watch normally makes really excited, happy daily vlogs, and then suddenly out of nowhere, it's like this sad, ultra close-up, consider the fact that you might be being manipulated. Avoiding eye contact. Now, normally a YouTuber looks right into the lens whenever they're talking to the camera, because it's supposed to feel like they're speaking to you. In these videos, they do not want to look at the camera. They want to look everywhere else.
When was the amount demonetizable? Or, I don't know. Which
avoiding eye contact is a pretty well-known nonverbal cue that someone is being dishonest. So if someone is having a hard time looking right into the lens, there is a possibility that, not that they're necessarily lying to you, but that they aren't being 100% emotionally honest with how they are feeling. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. All of this stuff feels incredibly rehearsed, like they thought through every little thing they were going to do.
negative brain thing.
Another thing to look for is weird breathing and vocal fry. Weird breathing is basically, you need to sound like you just ran for 3 miles or have done some kind of cardio very recently. Let me try. You know, it's hard, you know? Vocal fry sounds like this. And when you speak with it, it sounds like this. I'm just really sad today, you know, and then when you combine them, it sounds like this.
But I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to be myself on camera. And
then we have attractive crying / just dry heaving. So we know what people crying looks like, right? It generally looks something like this.
I hate school. I hate school so much.
Now, let's take a look at the crying in some of these videos I'm talking about.
And asking someone that question could potentially change their life. A lot of people don't have anyone to ask them that. Now,
the things they are crying about in these videos aren't necessarily things that they haven't cried about at one point, but they're not actually crying in these moments. These are artificially engineered emotional outbursts. It's so obvious, so incredibly obvious. People don't look this way when they cry. When you cry, you get ugly. Almost no one cries like a pretty person. That is a movie thing, because you know what happens in a movie when someone's crying? They're acting. That's what these people are doing as well. They're just not as trained. They don't have as much experience pretending to be sad. The final thing I would say to look for is when a YouTuber leaves in the part of the video where they turn on or turn off the camera, unless it's like a reoccurring gag on their show where they always start by turning on the camera being like, what up, pimps? But most people don't do that. So here's an example of how the video would end. They'd be sitting there, they'd be saying the last few things like, I'll never forget the time that I've had with this person, or with this company, or with this YouTube channel. And I'm really looking forward to what the future has in store. Bonk. and they turn the camera off, and then some text pops up on screen like, I love you, or thank you so much for being there for me. Well, we can do this together. Things like that. It's not an inherently bad thing. It's just something that happens a lot and is very intentional.
I would go to touch my camera or touch. One of my favorite YouTubers, H3, was so obsessed with YouTube, and because of that, I think these, I know that sounds like, oh, I thought you lived in LA, but because I wasn't being myself. Asking someone, so yeah, and I didn't want to do that. I'm